So, how do you motivate yourself to change your behavior? If there is one thing that I have struggled with for so long, it is dealing with the fact that there are certain emotions that I am addicted to. And I understand the frustration of finding yourself going right back and just reacting, being defensive, constantly hurting the person in your life or the people in your life who really love you and are looking out for you and want you to change, but you find yourself falling right back to these habits that you know are destructive and debilitating. Well, in this video, I have a 4-step process that can help you to overcome this issue that you have with a particular behavior that you're dealing with. And I can tell you that if you really, really purpose to work on this issue daily, you will change and that behavior will change. And you know what? It is possible. Find out how in this video. Hi everyone, my name is Sheila McKenna, founder of Push Factor, and you know what? I am a recovering addict of anger. I am a recovering anger addict. I really am. I'm one of those people who has always dealt with a pretty bad temper. So much so that it affected so many of my relationships. I became completely unapproachable at a certain point in my life. And I realized that if I was going to progress, if I was going to become the person that I see myself being, I have to change. And I'm pretty sure that there are people like you right now who are watching this video, hoping that you can find some kind of solution to the fact that you have a behavior right now that is addictive and you need to change it. It has to go. It's affecting so many of your relationships. It has affected the way you see yourself. And if there's one thing I understand, it is that. So I did this video. I am doing this video for the purpose of helping you understand that a behavior can be changed. It does not have to be attached to your identity and who you are. If you work hard enough, I can promise you that you can change your behavior. I know because 10 years ago, I was a completely different person than I am now. If you talk to my mother, she will tell you that I did a complete 180 in a matter of 10 years. I am not the same person now. And it took a certain system that I created for myself to be able to make these changes. And I have to admit that it has a lot to do with letting go of your ego, being really honest with yourself, and saying that despite the discomfort that I feel, despite my need to run away to this constant addictive emotion, I have to change. So the change that I seek has to be a lot greater than the discomfort I feel and my ego being hurt because of the fact that I want to hold on so much to this emotion. I want to hold on so much to this behavior. Now, the first thing we have to do here is to be acutely aware of your emotional triggers. What is it that triggers you to revert back to this behavior and to just react? Is it your environment? Is it the time of the day? Is it somebody in your life that is constantly triggering you? And when I say is it someone in your life, I don't mean that that person is to blame. What is it about that person? What is it about what they say to you or how they react to you that has you triggered to react back to them, to attack them? These are things that are very, very important because, like, for example, for me, the fact that I have always had this issue with anger and that I have improved greatly on, it's because I started noticing what my physical triggers were. And that is, first of all, when somebody says something to me that I don't like, what happens to me? My ears get hot. My heart starts to beat faster. I can feel tension running through my arms. So I know that I'm starting to build up this anger. And in that moment, I have a choice. I can either react or I can step back, right? And it took me a long time to get to that point where I can say, you have this choice to react or to step back. Because when you have been constantly just reacting, knee-jerk reactions to this behavior, it becomes really difficult to start thinking. Because you're no longer thinking when you're reacting. You just react. So what I started doing is I needed to take a step back and start thinking about the fact that I'm reacting this way. So I started telling myself, you have a choice right now. You can either go for that person's jugular, or you can step back and breathe or even walk away. Try to mitigate this situation before it gets really bad. What is it that is triggering you? And if you need to journal this, do it. Make a point of writing this stuff down. Monitor your behavior. Whenever you find yourself in this situation, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Am I craving something? Do I feel the need to yell or to shout back? Do I feel the need to run away and to distract myself? Because there are many of us who are passive aggressive. We don't necessarily have to react verbally. There are those of us who decide to just avoid it completely. We need to start getting to the bottom of this issue and ask ourselves, why do we feel this way? What is triggering us to feel this way? Start observing your behavior. Start observing and monitoring how you feel. And then from there, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to figure out a pattern. And when you figure out a pattern, then you can work on a diagnosis. And if you can't do that by yourself, my suggestion to you is it's really, really good for you to seek professional help. You can talk to a therapist to help you work through a way that you can deal with how to change this behavior completely. Because I believe that it's something that you can do, but you have to be emotionally aware of your triggers and you have to be willing to work on them. Now, the second part is that you have to acknowledge your behavior. It's very, very easy to get defensive when somebody calls you out on something that you have been hiding within yourself. But the thing about us as human beings is that when somebody gets to know you and they know you really well, they start to figure you out. They start to realize that there's a predominant behavior or action that you do on a consistent basis. There's a way that you deal with your emotions. People start to study you and they observe you and they figure you out. And somebody can say, you have a problem with your temper, don't you? I noticed that you have an issue with food. You're addicted to it. You're addicted to drinking. You're addicted to partying. You love to avoid confrontation. There are certain things that somebody can tell you and they can do it really out of observation or just out of concern for you because they realize that this is something that you're struggling with. It took me a long time for me to tell somebody, you know what? I acknowledge that I have a problem with anger. I do. And I'm really working on it. So my request to you, now that you realize that I have an issue with this, is that I ask you to be patient with me, because and I also ask you to help me through this. So whenever I get there, don't give up on me. It's always been important for me whenever somebody points out a flaw that I have to directly acknowledge it. There's something very, very cathartic about it. Yes, it is painful. Yes, it is embarrassing. Yes, it makes you feel small. It makes you feel like this person has called me out. And it's so easy to get defensive and attack them right back. But there's something so much more powerful about saying to this person, yeah, you're right. I do have that issue. I really do. But I want you to know that I'm working on it. And for as long as you're in my life, I want you to help me. Don't just criticize me for the sake of criticizing me. help me work on this problem that I'm working on, so that I can be a better version of me, not just for me, but for you too. And that is a beautiful form of growth. It's a beautiful form of healing. And you will be surprised at what happens to you when you constantly, openly acknowledge that you have this problem. Because the other thing is that nobody can use it against you. For as long as you make the decision to openly say, I have a problem with anger, I have a problem with sex, I have a problem with alcohol, I have a problem with food, I have a problem with confrontation, I have this issue, nobody can use it against you. It's also a form of control and taking back this thing so that it doesn't become something that you're afraid of anymore. It's something that you have decided to take control of, to take responsibility for, and you've made the decision that you're going to work on it. And people respect you for that. People will change their attitude towards you when you start being honest with yourself. And I can guarantee that it will happen. So point number 3, what's the third thing that you have to do? It is important to apologize to the person that you hurt when that behavior comes out. There are things that we do, our laziness, our distractedness, or like, for example, my issues with anger, it directly affected people in my life. They were afraid of talking to me. They were afraid of interacting with me because they didn't know when I was going to just, I felt like people were walking around eggshells with me. It's like I was a landmine and anything you said could trigger me and I would just react. And it came to a point in my life where I had to say, I can't do that anymore. But not only that, there were so many people I hurt. There were people that I said the wrong things to. There were people that I really, really hurt with the things that I said to them. And I had to formally apologize. It didn't matter to me whether it happened 5 years ago. It didn't matter whether it happened yesterday. If I hurt someone and I knew that that's what I did, I made it a point to face them and apologize to them. And again, that was a form of healing for me, because when you acknowledge a problem that you have and you apologize to the person that you've hurt, you are basically putting it out there that I am a work in progress. I am human. I've made mistakes, and I want you to know that I'm sorry for what I did. I was in the wrong mindset, and I'm still struggling with it. And I hope that you can continue to be with me on this journey. And my biggest apology to you is not just me apologizing right now, but it is changed behavior. And I am willing to commit to changing this behavior. And I want you to know this, the minute you do that, the minute you apologize to the person that you hurt, make the commitment to change your behavior. It is the greatest gift that you can give yourself. Don't just apologize. Apologize and do something about it. Now, the fourth part is actually the most difficult one. And that is learning to forgive yourself for your past transgressions. Because along the way, this behavior of yours has burnt a lot of bridges. It has also caused you to lose a lot of belief in yourself. So my solution, my ultimate solution, has always been to look within myself and to admit the wrong that I've committed, but also forgive myself, working on forgiving myself for the things that I have done. Because a lot of the times, I can tell you this, there are people that you're going to apologize to, but they are not willing to forgive you. They're not going to forgive you. And you have to figure out a way to find your own closure. Because if you decide to say, well, this person hasn't forgiven me, so I'm going to stay hating myself, then you're never going to change. Sometimes the most you can do is really just ask somebody for forgiveness and apologize sincerely. But the thing that you've done to them, they have to work on their own process. You can't expect that when you apologize to someone, they are going to acknowledge your apology. They probably will not. And when that person doesn't, then you move to this fourth step, which is working on forgiving yourself and telling yourself that, again, I make mistakes. I'm human, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I am willing to always consistently work on myself so that I can get to who I know I can be. If the person that you apologize to sincerely does not forgive you, then work on forgiving yourself. Because on this journey, you have to take the wins and take the losses and tell yourself that I have to be my own cheerleader. Because if I am not there for myself, then this game of life for me ends. I have to forgive myself and keep going and have the strength to keep building so that the next opportunity I have, I can do better. The next relationship I'm in, I can do better. The next person who interacts with me or who walks into my life, I will make the commitment to treat them better. And let me tell you, this 4-step process has been more than rewarding for me. It has completely changed me. And if you ask the people who are closest to me, they will tell you that the person I was 10 years ago is not the person that I am now. I'm a completely different human being. But it's because I set up a system for myself to heal, to grow, to evolve, to sit with these really uncomfortable feelings and tell myself that at a certain point, my pride and my ego are not enough. They are not going to be more valuable to me than my ability to grow and be better and have the humility to ask for forgiveness, to be a better human being. And that's why this 4-step process is really, really important. So my hope is that you use it for yourself to see how important it is and also how powerful the growth in yourself is going to be. So I hope this video was informative, gave you some level of insight, and if you enjoyed it, if you found this information valuable, then go ahead and share it, and do like and subscribe to this to this YouTube channel, because I will continue to do videos like this to motivate and inspire you so that you can be better than the person you were yesterday. So take care, and until the next video, I'll see you. Peace.